the recognized symbol of excellence in collecting podcasts.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Mighty Champions Action Figure Radio. This is a show where we talk about action figures, collectibles, toys, and all that sort of thing. My name is John Sargent.
And my name is Christian McGann.
Thank you very much for making us part of your day. We have got a loaded episode today. We're going to update our collecting rules. We've been doing this show for, 35 episodes or something like that, and the rules have changed. So we're going to update our rules and make you think about your rules. We're going to go over the news. There's quite a lot of it coming out of New York Toy Fair. And then Christian's going to give me a psych test.
That is correct. We're going to see just how insane he really is.
Criminally insane. You guys can join along on the show on Instagram. We're at Mighty Champions. We put all the pictures up there. That's where we were announcing the whatnot that we're gonna go over here in just a minute. All of the news kind of stuff, funny stuff, our personal collections. Like if you're wondering what we got going on in our collections, definitely just join the community, be a toy soldier, join the fun at Mighty Champions. You can also subscribe to the show wherever you're hearing the sound of our voice so you don't miss any episodes, and it would mean the absolute world to us if you could leave a review. If you're on Apple, just scroll to the bottom of the feed and you're going to see the little stars there, and you can leave a review there. If you're on Spotify, hit the 3 dots at the top, and that'll bring up your option to review there. It means absolutely everything to us. We know that we've got a lot of loyal listeners here, so just got to hit that subscribe and that review, and it means everything to us, so thank you for that. We did Whatnot last night.
Yeah.
We did a Whatnot, and if you're joining us right now because you discovered us on Whatnot, welcome. This is what it is. This is what we do. I had a blast.
Yeah, that was a really good time.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy. It was pretty efficient as far as how it operated. Once we got the hang of it, or I should say once I got the hang of it.
Yeah, I've done it before, but I had to get back into the groove because it's been a minute. So, but we hung out with the toy soldiers for a little over an hour. We sold 95% of the stuff I was looking to sell from just things that don't fit my collection anymore.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about the rules. So we got to chat with a bunch of people. That was super, super fun. So if you guys missed it, sorry you missed it. Should have been there. We've been telling you about it. But if you were there, awesome. Thank you. Yeah, it was a really good time. Just hanging out with people and chatting. But besides that, how's your week been?
Pretty solid. It went by pretty quick. I went to Dallas Vintage Toys. That's why I was not on the last episode. And it was a good time. It was a little weird because my girlfriend was in Dallas, so I drove up there to meet with her, which was nice.
She was there for work?
She was there for work. And then, hotel and stuff like that was paid for, which is really sick. And I told you that I was like, man, when I got there was a really long line of people. And I was like, I guess it's just people are just in town. And then as we were leaving, because we were going to go watch Wuthering Heights, which was 2 hours.
I bet that was incredible.
Yeah, man, I was just hey, $100 experience, basically. Eating at Alamo, we talked about this already, but just God, dude, fucking a popcorn, $15.99 or whatever.
It's a car payment to take someone else to the movies now.
Exactly. So anyway, won't even have to get into that or the movie, but I was leaving the hotel or whatever, and then in the lobby was oh, this is an anime convention or something like that, and I'm oh God. Please don't think that I'm here. No, I'm just kidding. But it was good. It was raining. It was freaking the '98 Godzilla movie with Matthew Broderick, masterpiece.
That is your mental image of when it rains a lot.
100% every time. This is Godzilla weather. Yeah.
You just picture wet Matthew Broderick when it's raining.
Something like that. But it was it was raining really hard. She had a rental, and it was sort of do you take the rental back? Because it would be the complete opposite direction of Dallas Vintage Toys. We're only about 15 minutes from Dallas, DVT, and which is really, really cool. because it just was like, all right, I don't have to like travel super far. So we ended up deciding like, hey, let's just meet there and we'll go take the rental back after we're done, since the whole day is sort of surrounding, Dallas Vintage Toys. So we get there, but on the way there, actually, again, it's pouring. And like Samantha had a little bit of a rough day where she's like, we're at a gas station and it's like starts coming down like crazy. And then I'm like, okay, well, like, you go to your car, I go to mine. And then she's like running or whatever. And then I just see her like get up.
Oh,
and I was
no.
like, oh crap. And I call her. She's like, I fell or whatever. Like her shoe busted open or whatever. So she was having a little bit of a day.
Oh, man.
So, and then the process was just kind of like, the Dallas driving scenario.
Oh, God.
So you mix that in with like pouring rain. So getting to Dallas Vintage Toys was sort of just like this, like, hey, like it almost felt like it took me a long time to just like plug in to the fact, like I'm almost certain that maybe I couldn't really feel the joy of being in there until like about an hour in there. It almost felt like it was just sort of like trying to unplug, like you just had sort of this like kind of wacky
turn off the outside world was like hard to do.
Yeah, exactly. And it was kind of bizarre because when I started in there, when you first walk in, it's just all loose figures, right? Like that's kind of where you're going to walk in. And so I love to start there because it's like, it's just going to get better. So I want to unfold as time goes on. And it was just like looking at the loose figures and there wasn't almost like anything. And I was like, what is about to happen today? Like, am I about to strike out? Because to kind of go into what I was thinking was getting more DC Universe classics to continue to fill my shelf.
Okay. There was stuff, there just wasn't that.
Yeah, and it was kind of like, okay, Marvel Cinematic Universe figures, McFarlane, MCU. And I was like, no, like, this is not happening right now.
Somebody wake me up.
I'm like, I found a couple Power Rangers that I was like, all right, like that's a good backup. But normally they are like flushed beyond belief with like loose figures that are just like grail after grail after grail, at least for me anyway. So that was kind of rough. And then when I went to the Toy Biz Marvel Legends area, because I'm like, okay, that's like actually what I come for. And they had they had gas. They had like the best I've ever had. They were just like the more higher priced items. So I was like, well, I want to be able to walk away again with a handful of stuff, and also it's Valentine's Day, so I know I'm going to have to be shoveling out some money for her.
Yeah,
and
you
so,
can't fail VD.
Yeah, and she also had the basket full of like again $100 Barbies and stuff like that. So she had like, I think it was like a Catwoman Barbie, a Poison Ivy Barbie, a Versace Barbie, a Pocahontas Barbie, like that type of stuff.
Versace Barbie.
Dude,
those are expensive words.
Yes. So it was a little rocky. I was kind of like, man, am I going to strike out today? Like, how, what's my approach going to be? I went to go look at the Lord of the Rings. Didn't really have. They had them, just no characters that I would have wanted to pick up. And I looked at like the DC stuff, and I was like, okay, what can I do? So I ended up getting, to kind of fast forward a little bit, but I ended up getting the X-Men Evolution Wolverine, which is what I wanted to get last time we were there.
Yeah,
and it was
the one in the karate gi.
Yeah, which I was
so sick.
It is so sick, and that was a figure that I used to just daydream about back in the day.
You've never owned it?
No, never owned it. I always looked at it on toybiz.com.
Sick.
And which was I
love it.
And they're my
what's better, regaining the thing that you did have that you loved, or getting the thing you never had that you yearned for?
I think that one.
I think we need a "Do You Yearn" shirt.
Yearning. I was just yearning, dude. And it felt really good to buy because one, it's only $15, and two, it just felt like I was like I was traveling back in time just to be like, you got it. Yeah, it's all good. And I got that, and then I ended up finding an Iceman for $25, and I was like, that is clutch.
Real good.
I was torn between some Power Rangers that I was looking at. I was like, how, like on a scale of 1 to 10, like how happy is this going to make me if I walk away with it today? And then I found like the Darth Maul from episode 1. That's my new like backup plan for whenever I go.
Episode 1, when all else fails.
Yeah,
that's my movie shelf.
Yeah,
when all else fails, just find somebody that was like a hero in an 80s, 90s movie.
Sure. And then it was $4.99. So I was like, can't beat that. And it's a handful of items, which is my philosophy. So And then I got that Sabretooth, which is also $15.
Yeah.
From the X-Men movie, the snow edition of him. So that's what I was going to plan on getting more, but then I'm like, I'm going to save some bullets because obviously I want to, get her some items or whatever. And she ended up walking away with the, crap, what did she get? I think she got, I want to say Esmeralda from Hunchback of Notre Dame. Barbie? I think. I don't know. I feel like I'm saying the name wrong.
I understand all of the words that you just said, just not in the order that you said them.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, man. And then afterwards, I was like, well, do you want to go hit up a thrift store? Which, by the way, returning the car was just like...
Never pleasant.
Dude, it was like...
Never been pleasant in the history of mankind.
It was at the airport. It's pouring rain.
Yeah.
And then it was like, here's the entrance, but not. And you're just like, where do I go?
Yeah.
So that was frustrating. But then we went to a thrift store. And as I've been workshopping and I've been talking to you about it, about a word, because we talk about like this internal gut feeling that happens where you know that you might find something good that day. You know that something's churning, right?
The gods are shining.
The gods are shining. You kind of have this gut feeling, and we can call it a gut feeling. We can call it something that makes a little bit more sense, but I wanted to tie it into what we've been talking about. So I came up with the term intuition, which doesn't sound good every time I say it.
It's awful.
It's awful, but man, did I have some intuition.
Toy intuition is just fine. You're overcomplicating it.
Intuition is what I had that day, John. But we go to this thrift store. So the key with thrift stores is like, you can look up a Goodwill, but Goodwills just aren't really good.
I tried to like, because I know if you're really, really, really diligent with Goodwill, you'll get some, maybe not in the action figure space, but just in thrifting in general, you'll get some stuff. I just don't really care about things that aren't action figures to grind that hard at Goodwill.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think just because thrift stores are aware of what they have now. So you are sometimes finding things in the wild that is amazing, but more often than not, they already know what it is and it's behind the counter and they're marketing it up to $150.
Yeah, that's usually the case.
Yeah.
I saw a picture online today of somebody that found... Cripes. Now I can't remember what the thing was. I just remember the image of the price sticker that said 175 on it. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yeah, that is the market rate on like eBay, but that exceeds the word thrift.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It's like it takes away from the joy. So I think like, and especially like the thrifting like clothing game just like ruins that big time. Yeah. But we ended up going to a place called Thrift Giant, which seemed like it was a little bit more of just kind of like its own thing there. And I just walk in and I had this like feeling, I'm like, where are the toys at? And I'm like, I never look at the clothes ever, which is kind of probably I should buy new clothes, but I don't. But I'm just like, where are the toys at? Move.
Yeah. To quote a wise man, you can't play outside with clothes.
Exactly.
You can't go outside and play with pants.
Exactly. So I go and then
You did get new clothes. You got Wolverine and a karate gi.
Exactly. But I stumbled upon a pretty gnarly grail find for me in particular, which is a shelf full of dinosaurs, Jurassic Park dinosaurs. I was like, and I come running around the corner, have like 4 or 5 in my hand, and then Samantha's like, oh my God.
I'm just picturing the sound of your shoes squeaking on the floor.
Exactly, except 250 pounds running around the corner. Move.
Samantha.
Dude, I went around the corner, she was like, oh my God, what? And I was like, there's more. And I just like went back. So, which is crazy. And I was like, it was funny because there was a guy looking at pants, like some old dude looking at pants, just like scrolling through. And I got over there so fast as if for some reason was thinking that he was going to see it and be like, oh my God. And he just didn't even care. Like,
get out of here, Steve. These dinosaurs are mine.
Yeah, it was like, I was like protected, like, and then I'm like, oh wait, I'm the only one that cares about this. But I was like, this is kind of crazy. And I turn around and then like, I've talked about Rescue Heroes before, and Rescue Heroes was a kid show when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But it was like like probably like 2 years younger than me. And Rescue Heroes were like, like firemen or whatever.
Yeah, it's like jobs
that have like really big feet or whatever. But there's an entire like wave essentially of Rescue Heroes there. And they're all like 2001, 2002. And I'm like, what is about to happen right now? Like, am I going to continue to dig and somebody's like old collection is just like gonna be here, and there might be more. So I'm already panicking about the dinosaurs. I'm looking. They write the price on them. They don't use like a price tag. They
Directly
write
onto the item?
with like chalk or something like
Oh.
that. Yeah.
Oh
And
my
so
God.
I'm reading like some of these prices where I'm like, I can't tell what this says. This is either $3.99 or $39.99. I don't know. And then so I ended up, I'm like, okay, well, I already have this one. I have this one. I have a bigger version of this. And it was like, I just dropped some change and I'm already trying to buy her something too. So I was really careful. I think I ended up walking away. You can see on my Instagram, like on one of my more recent posts, which ones that I got. I only spent like $28, but I think I got 5 dinosaurs or 4 dinosaurs. And that's not even one of those would have cost $28.
How many
by themselves.
dinosaurs do you have now?
I've got a lot. I have a lot. Now it's becoming a problem. That's kind of what leads into our segment today. But you know what's something that I thought about that I should have done? And I think I would have been totally and completely and utterly okay with this. I did talk to Samantha about it a little bit, but I honestly should have bought that entire collection. And I should have taken it back to DVT.
And sold it?
I could have bought the entire collection probably for $50. Because there was maybe 4 or 5 more dinos that I didn't get in a collection of like 12
I think this is an aspect of your game that needs work, is the spotting stuff that you don't necessarily want, but other people will, and selling it. And using that to fund the hobby.
Yeah, and I think my process was like, because I did think about that a little bit, about do I take it and then try to sell it on eBay? But then I'm like, man, trying to ship a big dinosaur just feels like...
however you could sell it.
Yeah.
In that moment, it would have been just take it right to DVT.
But I swear to you that, because I think every dinosaur that I found at the thrift store was at DVT. And I was showing her, I was like, this was there.
Yeah.
And it was like $50.
Yeah.
And I bought it for like $6.99.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so if I would have brought all of that, like, again, probably 12 dinosaurs, that probably would have got me, like, I don't even know, like, at least $200 in trade, maybe, if not more.
Yeah.
Based off of what they sell it for.
Or store credit.
Yeah. So I was like, dude, I could have probably brought that back and maybe even traded it in for, like, the Sinister Six.
Yeah.
Like, 6-pack or whatever.
Oh, dude.
So... we ended up going to another thrift store, and I'm like, I'm feeling hot, I'm feeling lucky. And then I had some other stuff that was like, okay, that's interesting, like a Yoda statue thing that was like, kind of pointing me in the direction. And then I'm going in the back, and I see these baggies of like toys. So I'm flipping them up and down. I'm looking, and I'm like, something itchy. And I see a Spider-Man in one of the bags, and I'm like, whoa! I drop it, and I'm like, whew. Because it looks real Toy Biz, dude.
Okay.
Real Toy Biz.
Okay.
I look at the price tag, and it just says like $4.59, but it's like a bunch of other BS in there too. And I'm like, holy crap! Like, this is amazing. Like, if I just I'll buy all this stuff, and then just so I can get the Spider-Man. And then I'm like looking, and I like dive in a little bit deeper. I have to like flip him up because he's inside the bag. I almost just ripped the bag and stole it. I'm not gonna lie. But I checked his foot. 2009 Hasbro, and I was like, oh,
2009. That's like, it might have been produced by, or like developed by Toy Biz.
That's 3 years after the end.
Oh, 3 years. Okay, never mind.
So I think it was 2006 is when they transferred, but it still was a Spider-Man figure, and it was still like of that sort of time frame. So it was like, I'm getting closer. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, long story short, it was a good time, and it was cool to find and have some intuition of finding stuff.
Stop trying to make that a thing.
Please let me know in the comments below what you think about that word. So anyway, how about you, John? What you been up to?
Man, to be honest with you, in the toy wise, as far as acquisition, nothing. I crashed and burned on a NECA blind box, if you guys saw on Instagram, that was not cheap and couldn't have been worse for me, anyways, for my collecting. So that actually was like, okay, I gotta slam the brakes on this month of like spending.
Yeah.
So luckily Whatnot went really well, and the brake is off.
Let me ask you this. Now that was, all said and done, has there been any sort of action that has been taken since last night?
Oh, I haven't had time.
Okay.
I thought about it. I was like, let me jump on eBay, but I haven't had time.
Okay.
Like, there will be.
Yeah.
Oh, there will be. You know me.
Perfect.
So yeah, toy-wise, pretty much non-existent week as far as incoming goes. Martial arts was really good this week. It was a testing week. Got stripes on my belt. My cardio is getting like phenomenal. Honestly, like my cardio is going through the roof. Weight loss challenge. I think I'm down like 12 or 13 pounds total.
Nice.
So yeah, as far as like just the week goes, it was a good week. Just more about outgoing toys and getting that whatnot ready. I think I put probably, and I haven't even shipped everything. I think I'm 4.5 hours into just manual labor into it. So that took up my week was still centered around toys. It was just outgoing toys.
Yeah.
And getting whatnot ready. So that was super fun. But yeah, so good to talk toys with you. Let's talk to the toy soldiers here a little bit and answer some questions. You guys can leave your questions at Mighty Champions on Instagram if you want them read out on the show, just like the ones that we've got here, starting with Boxy Brown 239. Boxy Brown wants to know, what's the most you have spent on a vintage figure, and what was it? He just wants us to straight up air dirty laundry for all spouses to hear.
See, this is more of a problem for you than it is for me.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
I'm actually genuinely interested in what.
Yeah, you're more of like, how much did you spend on like a bundle?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
like a bunch of figures. I don't actually know off the top of my head if it's one figure, because Legion of Doom is technically 2 figures. If it's one figure, I believe it's Combat Belt Batman, and it was about $250, but that was birthday money.
Okay.
So I just accepted the money and then moved the money along. But I believe that was the thing that I've spent the most on, just like one shot up front.
Yeah. Okay.
Is the Kenner Batman animated series Combat Belt Batman.
Yeah, that's big.
Yeah.
I would say mine would be this same thing, birthday. Like 2 months ago, dropped like $240. Not necessarily of my own money. It was like almost just like taking money and using it over here. There's still a guilty element because it's like, dang, I could have put this money into all kinds of other stuff, but I didn't. So yeah, but again, I bought like 8 action figures. So still was tough to pull that trigger. I mean, we know who this guy is, and we know he's no
he's kind of a
stranger.
Yeah, he is a experienced money dropper.
Yeah.
All right, next question from @the_super_DAC on Instagram. Any experience with anime figures? A lot of them look cool but low quality. Neither one of us is really an anime guy. Does the 70s Spider-Man count? The Marvel Legends 70s Spider-Man, the Japanese one?
Kinda, yeah. I mean, like, I don't know which ones he's referring to, but we talked about this where the God, what are they called? Like they're referred to as like imports or whatever.
Yeah, like SH Figuarts and
Yeah.
like I guess Storm Collectibles and
Ish,
some of the like there are imports that I'm interested in, but there's nothing that is based on an anime that I'm interested in, right? Like I like a lot of things from Japan. I'm a massive Japanese wrestling fan.
Yeah.
Like I just watched Seven Samurai the other night. Like I love things from Japan. Anime is just not one of those things.
Yeah, I feel like if you get it from some of those, like I think Mafex.
Yeah.
Mafex, I think is like something similar, but the anime figures in particular, like the Dragon Ball Z import from the SH Figuarts, whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, that's a weird word, but I'm pretty sure those are pretty pricey though, like over $100.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I would imagine they probably are pretty good if you had those.
All right, next question from Nick Fowler on Instagram. What are your top 5 figs of 2026 so far? I haven't really been keeping track yet of like what's been released versus what's just in pre-order. What I can say is for the things that I have purchased, which isn't a heck of a lot so far this year.
Yeah.
I'll get there. Give me
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
The Rob Van Dam Legends figure is awesome. The Rey Mysterio Ultimate Edition Legend is also awesome. The Steve Blackman figure was surprisingly good. So yeah, just really been more like WWE for me so far this year. Everything else that I've acquired this year has been vintage.
Yeah,
Like Predator and stuff like that. So I would really have to sit down with that to come up with like a solid answer.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking through some of the stuff that I posted, and I'm thinking, like, honestly, Bible Man was like,
Highlight for you.
Yeah, these are obviously vintage figures, but the figures that I have bought this year, which would probably be Bible Man, and then I don't know, maybe the Batman Beyond, the Thing is really cool. And
You've had some pretty dope.
Yeah, I've had some good stuff, but yeah, I feel like every one of these, I'm like, actually, that's been a pretty perfect year so far.
And then the last question from @MichaelFisher on Instagram: Mount Rushmore of your lines. And I think we actually should just use that to get into our first segment.
Okay.
Right? Because we're going to go over all the lines that we each collect and the rules for it, right? So let's dive into the rules.
Johnny, catch! Oh no! Let's tell Mom it was Billy's mistake.
You're making the mistake.
Flint!
Anyone can have an accident, but lying makes it worse.
But Mom will be upset.
She'll be even more upset if you lie. And how would you feel if Billy got punished? Face up to what you've done. Don't take the easy way out.
We'll tell her we did it.
Remember, it's better to tell the truth.
And that's no lie. Now we know.
And knowing is half the battle.
This is going to be a little bit less of a structured conversation like we normally do and a little bit more off the dome.
Yeah.
If you guys have been listening since the beginning or if you've found us recently and gone back, I want to say it was like episode 1 or 2 or 3, somewhere in that neighborhood, we really established our rules. Yeah. Our personal
episode
rules.
1, I think.
Might have been episode 1, yeah. And we were talking about you got to have rules, right?
Yeah.
And the rule, what we mean by rules is principles for yourself that keep you from spending too much money, keep you from overflowing the space that you have available, spending too much here when you know that this is about to come out, or it's regulations of yourself to maximize your collection, right? Whether it's the way that it's displayed or the way that you buy it or the way that you sell it or whatever, right?
And I would say, like, those are rules that you generally would give yourself, but there's also just rules that make the most sense in your brain. It's like that's kind of what we're going to get into in the following episode, which is just understanding the psyche of a collector.
Following segment, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. I
feel like that's a big thing where it's like there's certain things that what I do versus what you do, but why I do it is like this, you know, it's like something that can't be reasoned with.
Yeah, and just so you guys can put some thought into it, because I talk to a lot of you guys on Instagram. I talk to a few of you guys in person, like my friends, and some people are just shooting from the hip. Yeah. They're just completely and utterly shooting from the hip, and it's costing them too much money, and then funds are down, and then a thing goes up for pre-order, and they can't pre-order it because they spent over here. And, you know, you're never going to 100 it, but having some kind of protocols in place assists with that. So, Michael Fisher's question from Instagram, Mount Rushmore of your lines. Let me kind of go through my lines and kind of the rules that are in place, but the rules that have changed because of the podcast, or since the podcast, I should say. So the first thing that I collect is modern wrestling. And I've got a Detolf shelf that fits 64 wrestlers in it with the risers that I have. And that is a ranking system for me, right? 1 through 64, so to speak. There's some tag teams in there, but basically that's what it means. And then that's one and done inside of the shelf. Everybody in there is one and done, right? So if I get
one scares me.
If I get a new Batista, the old Batista has to go. That Batista is going on eBay, or he's going in a box and going to stay there until the next Whatnot, right? So a lot of the things that we sold on Whatnot last night, that was the case.
Right.
Rey Mysterio in there, FTR in there, they got replaced by newer, better looking, more articulated figures, right? So the one and done rule for me is hard, and I don't always win with it. I have 4 Shawn Michaels, I have 4 Steve Austins, but there's only one on display.
Yeah.
Some people I simply can't resist. Like Bret Hart. There's just some people I just can't resist, but that's the goal. That's the intention. And then anybody who any of the wrestlers who I really, really like, but I don't like them enough for them to be in that case and in that ranking, they go on the shelf, a different shelf, and they're just like out in the open. They're absolutely one and done because they're not even highly ranked in my head. So I don't need 2 Diamond Dallas Pages. If one comes out that's better than the one I have, this one's going in the yard sale, so to speak. So as far as wrestling, that's my rule. The other wrestling collection that I have though is my Hasbros, and I hadn't established rules for that until we kind of started the podcast. Because I didn't know what I was doing with it. I didn't know if it was going to be a small collection, a big collection, a sold collection that just went away. But then I got the ring. And I have just I want to do a whole episode about them someday.
Yeah.
I am so in love with the WWF Hasbro figures that I was like, you know what? I'm going to just spend the rest of my life trying to be a completist. I'm going to just chase them down one by one until I get them all.
Interesting.
Like the poster says, collect them all.
And again, I'm giving John a psych test. So right now he's laying on this couch, face up. We got a box of Kleenex right there.
It all started in 2nd grade.
Exactly.
Some of the other stuff that I collect, Marvel Legends.
Yeah.
The rules have really changed with that because I've got an X-Men shelf, which is basically the X-Men animated series, and I extended that into X-Men 97 and Jim Lee comics. Very, very, very similar. So if it kind of fits in that Jim Lee or animated series zone, then I want it, right? But I completed it.
God, it gives me chills just thinking about it.
There's no other figures in that zone that I want. Right? So that's completed. So I guess a rule is it's done. Unless something gets replaced with
and this is, you guys jump on him for this too, because in my opinion, I'm doing all versions of the X-Men. But I know real estate is probably would you say real estate is the biggest?
Real estate's my biggest challenge.
For that.
In general. Yeah.
Well, we're talking X-Men.
If I had infinite space, I would do different generations.
Okay.
Would get their own shelf or display or whatever. And then I've got my Spider-Man shelf, animated series, same thing. It's done. It's one Spider-Man and all of the villains that I care about.
Yeah.
And I'm done with it.
Son of a gun.
It's completed. Right? So, and then I've got my Ninja Turtle Super 7 Ultimates Ninja Turtle shelf that I went from I'm going to sell it to nope, I'm going to add to it. Right? So I'm currently chasing those, but those are long game. I'm only buying those if they go on sale because they're ludicrously priced.
Okay.
They're not actually that good of figures. As far as posing and messing up. They look great standing still. You touch it and you're like, what the heck is this? So that I wouldn't call that one really a Mount Rushmore. I do love it, but it's not Mount Rushmore. Then I've got my G.I. Joe Classifieds. I'm almost done with that, and my rule is if I think it's cool. That one's pretty loose.
Yeah, that's probably the most loose you have, I think.
Yeah, because if I'm just wandering through Ross or GameStop or somewhere and I just happen upon a really cool classified, even if I don't know who it is, I'm probably going to buy it. If it's cheap enough, you know what I mean? If it has cool accessories or I don't even know the guy's name with the tiger shirt. What's his name? Outback?
Something like that.
Yeah, I was awesome.
Yeah, he looks sick.
Yeah, military guy with a tiger on his shirt and guns. Yeah, cool. But the one thing that is really changing as far as my displays and my rules is my sports sections. And I think that's why you wanted to talk about this.
Yeah.
So if you guys have been listening, I mentioned this before, but I haven't really drilled in on it yet. I've got a 49ers section on one side of the window, and I've got a Lakers section on the other side of the window. Get at me at Mighty Champions if you want to give me grief for being a 49ers and Lakers fan. A lot of people think that that's some sort of blasphemy. I am not a Cowboys or Yankees fan, if you're wondering. Those are getting moved. We signed a new lease here, and they're getting moved out into the hall. So what was a rule when this podcast started was that everything had to be contained into this room.
Yeah.
Well, that is no longer a rule.
Yeah.
Right? Or at least it's been loosened. So those sections are going to move out into the hallway, and then something else is going to take the place here. One thing is absolutely Mattel DC. Like Mattel DC, I'm done with Marvel Legends, basically.
Yeah.
So that's going to be monstrous for me. Like monstrous. In summer of 07, I'm going both
27.
feet. 27, yeah. I got a time machine. Yeah. In summer of 27, I'm going in with both feet on that. Might take up this entire wall.
Wow.
Right? Like we kind of went through a couple episodes ago. A whole entire Metropolis display, a whole Gotham display, a whole Green Lanterns display. It's going to take up a lot of space. It's going to take up a lot of space. But yeah, so those are basically my collections and my rules as of right now. And I do want to try to do a better job this year of selling stuff. Like instead of just stockpiling it and getting around to it, I want to be more proactive about selling stuff. So that'll be a rule for myself is like, don't just spend. Like it can't just be outgoing. Sometimes some money's got to come back. Yeah, what about you? What are your rules looking like these days?
I mean, the biggest one we've talked about quite a bit. I could just spend a good chunk of time talking about the dinosaurs. But yeah, I mean, my whole philosophy was like, I'm just going to go after what I had when I was younger and what I wanted when I was younger. And I don't really, collect the modern other than the dinosaurs. And I think the dinosaurs in my brain is just like, it just sort of is this thing that looks really cool.
Now that you have a herd of dinosaurs.
Pretty much, like I said, like you walk in and it just looks like they're just all looking at you, ready to pounce. And I think maybe the reason for that is because, like, I typically don't see some of the bigger Jurassic Park, like, vintage dinosaurs. Like, Jurassic Park 3 is relatively rare. That was my, like, full-blown Jurassic Park. Some of the bigger dinosaurs, you just don't see them anywhere. And even at, like, good toy stores, they might be there. There might be a version here or there, but they're going to be pricey if they are there. So I sort of feel like there was, like, this kind of thing that is... I'm having some internal, like, turmoil because I don't know how long this one is going to last.
Because you didn't have any rules to start with.
Because I didn't have any rules to start with. I just love dinosaurs, and I love walking into my toy room, and there's just like a Spinosaurus just, hanging out, whatever.
I remember being in Target with you, and you were battling with yourself over what size of T-Rex to get.
Yeah.
And I was trying to be like, well, you've got to establish which scale are you pursuing. You were like, I just like them all.
Yeah, I mean, I do, and I love the super colossal. Like, I love that. But also, it's like, if it came down to wanting to sell a collection just to, like, fund or whatever, I think I'd go for that. I think I would go for Jurassic Park.
You'd sell the Jurassic Park?
Other than, like, the one that my buddy gave me that's, like, from the Lost World. Like, because that one is just, like, too graily, and obviously it was a gift, and so, or the Spinosaurus, but I think I could probably part ways with all of the modern ones that I've been finding, because they're not necessarily, like, other than the Spinosaurus and the T-Rex, like, those are the ones that actually, like, are the most meaningful for me.
Right.
But any of the other ones are like, this looks cool. I would have bought it when I was younger for sure. So it's a little weird right now. However, because I'm diving into that, obviously they are really big. Like, I have 3 super colossal, which is like the Spinosaurus, whatever the gray one is from Jurassic World with Chris Pratt.
Couldn't tell you.
I don't even know.
As far as
Indominus Rex,
I'm concerned, the first movie is the only one that matters.
It's true, and like realistically, doesn't really make sense for me to have that. It's just a big freaking dinosaur that I found for $15, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of why I've held on to that. But they are really big, and then all the other ones are pretty big too. So, and I just don't have a space to like actually display them other than the floor. So it's a little bit of a weird thing. It's still, when you walk in, it's still kind of cool to see like a bunch of dinosaurs just kind of hanging out, but it's like they're already capped. Like anything that I do is just going to get in the way.
Yeah.
And I don't really have any other space. And so before I dive into like what my sort of thought process is going into that, the other things is I have a DC shelf and I have a Marvel shelf. Marvel specifically, Toy Biz. Obviously, I talk about it every episode and every episode going forth.
Henceforth.
But I would say like my henceforth. There you go. I never learned Old English. But in the DC shelf, I would say has like changed a bit. Like my rules sort of have shifted because I have a couple on-card figures, which is not really something that I do, right?
What do you have on card?
I have those Mattel, like old Hasbro.
Oh,
kind
the
of
like animated
series. Yes. I haven't opened any of those yet, just because they look so beautiful.
Are you keeping them on card, or you just haven't opened them yet?
I don't know. I really don't know. Like they look so good, but I want to open them so bad.
Yeah,
but
that's another rule that needs to be considered ahead of time if you guys are about to start a collection.
Yeah,
are you going to be a loose or an on-card collector?
Right.
Like of whatever it is that you're chasing down. That matters for space, for money, right? They're going to be more expensive on card.
Yeah, every other scenario I'm opening. For some reason, I'm like, and I think maybe just because like the box looks so good and the figures themselves like aren't, and this doesn't really bother me, like the articulation or whatever is like, I love it with the Marvel figures because I played with them, so it mattered to me at the time. Now it doesn't matter as much, right? Like I look at some of these old Batman, they have 4 points of articulation or whatever, or 5 points, whatever they're called. But it's, so with that, it's like that's hanging up on my wall, also some on my shelf, kind of. So I've done like the Superman, the Kenner Superman Man of Steel, which was before me. Like 1996, like I was 4 at the time.
Yeah,
I would have loved it, obviously, but like it still really matters. And the animated like Batman, one-off like lines, those are something that I've been picking up too because one, they just do it for me, and they're relatively cheap, and that's like what I love. On my DC Universe Classics, like the goal is still to continually grow those. Obviously, I talked about, just like kind of be feeling really torn depending on what the new Mattels look like. Because these are older Mattels from like, 2006, 2008, 2010, whatever. And then on my other part of that shelf, I have DC Direct. And this is sort of where I've just kind of committed to a couple weeks ago, where I'm just like, you know what? Like, I just really love the way that DC has so many different lines across so many years, so many iterations that still capture exactly what I want to see from these characters. So I'm like, I think I'm good with just having DC Direct. Like if it's a DC Direct version of Batman and then another version of him, like I'm just going to get those. If I think the figure is cool, I think I'm just going to get it. And I don't really need that shelf to make sense. I kind of just want to have just a flush shelf full of figures that I like.
What are you saying? Like that you're not, are you like taking your foot off the gas on Universe Classics?
No, I'm doing both.
Okay.
Because I think with Marvel, it's like Marvel Legends Toy Biz or Marvel Legends Hasbro. Which one do you want? Whereas DC
it's just the two, right?
is like DC Direct, DC Collectibles, Hasbro, Mattel, whatever. There's a lot of them.
So you're just adding DC Direct to like the pursuit.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like there's lines within DC Direct that like figures that I would get, figures that I wouldn't get. I'll get the ones that I want, not get the ones that I don't want. I just want to have like this flush, rich, like glimpse into what means the most to me about that universe and all the characters that I love. So yeah, I'm going to have like on the DC Universe Classics, it's going to be Hourman, and right beneath him is going to be Hourman in that version. So yeah, that's really big. And then I think just getting, like the Batman Beyond loose, just hanging out, like where all these things are just sort of capturing exactly what those characters mean without having to really be some like a ton of rules, other than like I just want to fill the space. I want to look over there and be like, that looks really good. So I am realizing that on my Marvel shelf, like I'm starting to run out of space. If you follow me on Instagram, X Life Coach X, I put out a reel like several months ago, kind of tying into the shelf about how I put together the comic books that came with the Marvel Legends at the time. And how I basically just don't, it's hard to open those packages. It's hard to want to get rid of anything that has to do with those packages because they're so meaningful to me. So I decided that I was going to get those comics and frame them by, like a good 10 by 10 frame or whatever, and then put it in, or 8 by 10 frame, and then put it in the shelf behind the figures. But the way that the shelf is sort of set up, it's like a tight squeeze. And because I'm already getting so many more.
And the comics are taking up a bunch of space.
The frames are taking a bunch of space. And so it's like, I might have to pull those out. And obviously I have a ton of the figures, so I have a ton of the comics.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I'm running out of shelf space. So I've just been hanging them up like on the wall. And then I actually put some in the bathroom, like our other like guest bathroom. And
so you're busting out of the room too.
I'm busting out of the room, right? Yeah. And so I actually last weekend, I had my DC shelf, and at the bottom rim of the shelf, I had like my miscellaneous collection, because I was like, it's empty, and I don't want to do that. I don't like, I need to have something there. So I put my Power Rangers, Godzilla, Lord of the Rings, Bible Man, Star Wars Episode 1. I put all those there, and it looked really good. I actually loved looking. It looked like kind of cluttered at first, but then I was like, man, I actually just love looking on the shelf for just all these things. It just kind of fed me in a way.
Yeah.
But I decided, like, we have this other kind of tall, really thin shelf that has, like, probably 4 shelves in it. And I'm like, I'm going to move these and, like, give them their own shelf, because that's initially what I want to do. But I don't know. So it's, like, weird, because it's, like, some of them are flush, some of them aren't. So it just looks really empty. And then this looks full. Like, it doesn't look like the Detolf, like, that you've got.
Yeah.
It's very similar design. So it's like, imagine if you had like one that was really stacked, and then the middle one only has like 2 or 3, and then the one, so
for sure.
That's a little frustrating, and but it's like just more reason to keep getting more. And so yeah, I mean, with the Star Wars Episode 1, it's one of those things where it's like, I got most of the main figs. Like, I might be done with that,
Right.
I might, but I want to, like, I'm just trying to check these boxes. But yeah, I mean, with the dinosaurs, tying back into them, because they're just on the ground. Some of them you can display. Like, if I got more shelves and like floating shelves, I could probably put a couple on there. But again, they're huge. They're going to take up space. So it'd be like 1 to a shelf, essentially. So it's like, that is already a ton of real estate.
Yeah, I just couldn't do it.
Exactly.
I could never do it.
But honestly, like, you have a wall, like over here, if you just had that corner full of dinosaurs, like, that could work.
Corner full of dinosaurs.
Corner full of dinosaurs. So my thought process was, what I was telling you, I was like, man, like, I came to this conclusion that I was like looking around in my living room, and it's like Hello Kitty and all kinds of stuff that my girlfriend like puts up, and I'm like, why don't I just like move some of the stuff out here? And then I'm like, well, I guess, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is my house. Like,
I thought you were about to be like, why don't I just put her stuff in the trash?
For sure. And I was like, why don't I just actually like hang up posters out here, or like put toys out here? I'm like, this is my house. This is our house. And I told her that. She was like, yeah, I don't know why you don't. And I'm like, well, who the heck? Why do I feel like I was going to get in trouble? And we have like in our kitchen, we have these, like, our apartment has really high ceilings. So anything that has to do with like, curtains or whatever, it's like, I need a ladder, essentially. Yeah. And with our kitchen, we have like these counters, the like, I guess whatever they are, like counters above the everything. There's like a space between the counter and the ceiling. And I'm like, you know what? Like, I wonder what that would look like if I just lined it with all dinosaurs. And I'm like, even the Super Colossal would fit. I'm like, it might be kind of random. I think we would actually have to establish a little bit more in the household to make it make sense, because it's sort of like dry and empty. But I think because if you walk in, you're just like, oh, there's like a poster of that and then a bunch of dinosaurs on the cabinet. But I don't know. Like,
I don't know. I feel like you could tell who lives in your house, like, right when you walk in.
Yeah.
I don't think dinosaurs are going to be out of place.
Yeah.
It'd be a good conversation starter, like kitchen full of dinosaurs.
Kitchen full of dinosaurs. Yeah. So
yeah,
that might be something I'm going to do. I mean, I think really I'm in like a mode of like exploration. The other day, I just literally was sitting in my office, where my toys are, and just stared at them and just like thought to myself, like, as if I was trying to solve a math problem, because I was like, what do I do? Yeah.
Like,
what do I do now? And I'll probably do that when I get home. So I mean, my goal was to get back over to Dollar Tree, which is where I buy those 8 by 10 frames for like $1.25 each. and just put the comics in there. And so because I want to hang up more comic book like around the house and stuff, just kind of surround myself even more. So that was the whole concept of this segment, which was essentially like going outside the room, which is like terrifying. But then it's like, wait a minute, like that gives you so much more space.
Yeah, it's an option. Like it for me, that's a little different than it is for you because I collect more things than you do. Right, I have a vinyl record collection that's also out there. Right. I have a huge retro video game collection. Sure. I collect more things than just action figures, and so I was locked in a box for good reason.
Yeah,
for really good reason. And both Danielle and I have moved around a lot in our lives, and for a long time it didn't feel like we were going to stay in this house because we've never stayed anywhere. But then when you're like, you know what, I've never lived anywhere this long before. We can start like moving in. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like I know you're looking around being like, you're pretty dang moved in, dude. Yeah. But like we can feel that way and like put stuff on the walls out there, so some of this stuff can start to break out. But yeah, so that's what's going on with us and our collections and our rules that are changing and updating and are kind of liquid. If you've got some questions or suggestions for rules, right? You're struggling with your rules, or you can help us with our rules, get at us at Mighty Champions. Let me see your displays too. Hit us with your displays, share them, and we'll repost them because we want to see them. And like any kind of stories that you guys have about like, oh, I was doing this, but now I'm doing this. We're interested in that stuff, so let us know at Mighty Champions.
Yeah, and before we jump into the next segment, actually, you were talking about your one and done thing, and I'm not that at all.
No.
I will get all the...
Sounds like you're getting further and further from it.
Oh, 100%. Like, I'm actually already running out of space on my Marvel shelf. Like, I had to actually start another one because of the X-Men 2000 from the movie figures that I've been getting. Mm-hmm. X-Men Evolution, like the Wolverine. It's like, okay, well, like, do I need that now? Like, do I need, like, a Wolverine? Does he need an entire shelf? Spider-Man. Like, you have a Spider-Man shelf, meaning, like, Spider-Man and his foes and his friends. Or whatever.
It's just Spider-Man and his folks, yeah.
But I have 3 Hulks already. Yeah. I have 2 Things. I have like 4 Wolverines. I have like 2 Spider-Man. Like, and then like, so it's like, do I need a Spider-Man shelf where it's nothing but Spider-Man, nothing but Wolverine, nothing but like, I'm gonna get all of them.
Yeah,
like, there's just no
different rules, different needs.
Anyway, yeah.
All right, let's do the news.
New at 11, buyer beware. A local family is outraged over a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles toy that they bought for their son. It says a variety of phrases, but the family believes one of them includes a swear word that starts with a B.
You would think coming out of the New York Toy Fair that it would be a slow news week, but it's not. There's actually a good amount of stuff to go over today. Some of it is leftovers from the New York Toy Fair that we weren't able to get around to because it was happening while we were recording. First and foremost, Smart Hulk from Hasbro Marvel Legends. I know that this is one that people have really, really been anticipating, and a lot of people had figured it out from the teasers that were getting dropped. Right, so you got the 90s Smart Hulk and the black tank top and red pants and giant gun and bunny slippers, spectacles, big fists and hands and like new head sculpts. This is going to be very, very, very popular figure for a couple of reasons. People are going to use these head sculpts to swap with the Maximum, like because a lot of people are preferring these head sculpts over the ones that came with the Maximum. A lot of people like Smart Hulk. This also, patting myself on the back, is proof positive that they are doing a full-blown line of this Hulk packaging that I spoke into existence.
Right.
So if you love this, thank me. Marvel Legends also showed off the Iron Spider, Aaron Davis. Looks pretty good. It's obviously a repaint of the previous Iron Spider, but it's just black and gold now with a different head sculpt. But it looks good. It looks really cool. So like if you are somebody that's like, give me all things Spider-Man, this is going to be a shelf enhancer for sure. It looks really fun. That's just a single release, I believe. Jumping over to McFarlane, the only new figure that they showed off, and I use new in quotations, is the Christopher Reeve Superman.
Uh-huh.
that's launching for pre-order in March. I just don't know why this Superman is different than the one that I have. I don't see, maybe the head sculpt, but other than that, I don't see any differences.
Yeah.
They also announced that the Joker and the Bane are going up for pre-order on March 5th as well. Okay. The other order of business, where John was right, Hulk, where John was wrong, AEW Jazzwares. Literally last episode, I said, I'm paraphrasing here, AEW Jazzwares is dead. It's never ever coming back. It's double shovel buried 6 feet deep. And man, I wish it weren't, because I really wanted that Kyle Fletcher and Kenny Omega figure. By the time I was not even done editing the episode, Jazzwares stuck their hand up out of the grave and said, not only are we alive, but we're putting out a unmatched Collection 13 with Hook, Chris Statlander, Kyle Fletcher, and Kenny Omega.
It's crazy because you would have thought you would have had intuition about it.
My intuition failed miserably.
Yes.
Crash and burn. So yeah, there's those 4 figures, plus there is a Chase Kyle Fletcher. And in true AEW Jazzwares form, all 4 of these figures are incredibly outdated already.
Dang.
Kyle Fletcher looks nothing like this now.
Wow.
Like, none of these are up to date.
As you saw last night when you were trying to flip some of those AEWs, nobody wanted any of them.
Yeah, rough night for the dub.
The only things that didn't sell. Everything else.
Yeah, everything sold but the dub. You're gonna love this. We're switching things over to Playmates, where there is a Godzilla versus Mighty Morphin Power Rangers line.
Oh, wait. The crossover, right? Oh,
Yeah.
it's Versus. Yeah, where they have like
Versus.
the designs. Pretty cool.
So Green Ranger Godzilla, Blue Ranger, I don't know, something else, Red Ranger, a different thing. So it's like they're part Power Ranger and part kaiju monsters. Like I think those marry up pretty well.
Yeah, it does.
And I believe it's based on a comic. Oh, actually, I'm seeing that it's a part 2.
Gotcha.
So I think the comic book is part 2 and the figures are a first time thing, I believe.
Yeah,
Correct
maybe
me if
so.
I'm wrong on that. Then we're switching it over to Mezco, who showed off their Doctor Doom. So Mezco 112 showed off a Doctor Doom, and as is always the case, it's available for pre-order right now. And as is always the case, it's going to be the best Doctor Doom ever released, and it will be far too expensive for me to even remotely consider. But it's got a cloth cloak, and it looks like it's actual metal. It looks really, really good. Like, insanely good. And then the last thing that I had comes from Mondo, which is you know what Mondo does. They make big, giant, soft vinyl, like highly detailed figures, and they're getting into the Street Sharks game. And they've got a Ripper ready to rock and roll, available for pre-order on February 26th.
Wow.
So for
A lot of Street Shark fans out there.
Street Sharks is making a little bit of a resurgence, I think. It's kind of interesting how merchandise can rekindle people's interest in something that has not been supported for 30 years.
It's real weird.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing how that takes place. Did you have any
The
new
only
stuff?
one that I saw that I was like, wait, what? Is the Bandai Collect Gamerverse Wolverine. Did you see that one?
Yeah.
That looks like one of the best Wolverines ever made, maybe?
Yeah,
At least in my opinion. Like,
it does
holy
look
crap.
really, really good. That's another thing that's kind of interesting to me too, is how many different companies are sort of making basically the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, like, this Wolverine, like, in my opinion, I think this looks better than, like, a Marvel Legends, in my opinion. But,
Is it 6-inch scale? It's kind of hard to tell in this picture.
yeah, it's hard to tell. But, like, the Cyclops behind it, too, like, it's, like, really weird. How many of them are doing Gamerverse also at the same
word
time?
Gamerverse being available for all of these different companies is really fascinating.
Yeah.
But that Wolverine does looks like somewhere in between the Capcom one and the like regular one, as far
Yeah.
as like the height of his cowl and boots and stuff. But it goes with that Cyclops and that Spider-Man that are just like, oh my god.
Yeah,
like
looks really good.
So yeah, that does look amazing. All right, that's going to cover it for the news.
It's Megazord. When evil space aliens threaten Earth, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, in their Dinozords, morph to become The Megazord. The Megazord is part of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Ultimate Battle System.
Hey, I thought you were driving. Me? I thought you were.
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Too hot to handle.
The next order of business today is that Christian is going to basically my worst nightmare come true, which is a psych test. And before you even get started, let me tell you that I have a lot of unresolved trauma from my childhood.
Well, didn't you have you got some toys taken from you when you were younger because you were playing too violently?
Oh, dude, first day of kindergarten, I made guns out of Lego, and they called my dad and were like, he's got violent tendencies.
I love that.
I spent a lot of time at the counselor. I was just kidding, but now you've opened a can of worms. I spent a lot of time at the counselor because I was the only kid watching RoboCop and Rambo and stuff, so they would pull me out of class. I would go into the counselor. The counselor would have a sandbox on wheels, like an elevated sandbox on wheels, and she had a shelf that was covered in action figures and toys and dolls and stuff. And then she would go, here's the sandbox, make a scene. Obviously, I made a war scene. Good guys, bad. I recognize these characters. Skeletor is a bad guy. He-Man is a good guy. Da-da-da-da-da, right? So I would divide the sandbox in half. And I was like, counseling rules.
Yeah.
And I would make a war scene, and she would just furiously scribble and be like, see? He's obsessed with violence.
It was like somebody trying to make something. You know, it was like she was just trying. I'm like, what do you expect them to do?
Yeah.
Like, oh, they're having tea. So this is really interesting. This is something that I had been thinking about, and we talk about it quite a bit. I think I talk about it probably more than you do in a way, because it's just something that's on my mind. Like, it's fascinating to kind of understand how people collect and like what motivates them, because there are certain elements of this game that I look at that I'm like, I would never do that in a million years, and then vice versa.
Yeah.
I can walk through a section of Dallas Vintage Toys and never think twice about it and be completely uninterested, but there's somebody there that's just like, oh my God. I watched it happen. I watched normal people. I watched collectors, obviously. There was a dude that was looking at the Marvel Legends Toy Biz, and I wanted to go up and be like, hello, brother.
Want to be friends?
Hello. And then he had a modern Marvel Legends in hand, and I said, forget you. It's true. It's true. That's probably the reason why I didn't talk to him. But anyway, but then I saw other people, they were like, oh my God, I had this when I was younger. Like, I saw a kid walk in and see the Lego section. I like Legos, right? Not really on my radar, but he comes in on the Legos, and the dude, he just was like, oh my God, all of these are vintage. And I was like, hey, like, he's fired up, right? So there's sort of a lot of things about collecting that are really interesting. The grading element of things, right? People grade. They want Matt Cardona, I think, is a perfect example. You introduced me to him, essentially. I don't really know too much about, like, that stuff other than what I've seen in the videos, but, you know, like, oh, I want to buy this $600 wrestling ring, or I want to buy this $14,000 whatever, but I'm also going to open it because I want to have the experience that I would have had when I was younger. Right?
He's a lunatic.
So, but like, that's his thing,
Yeah.
right? Because that is what everything in his life led him to that moment.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And you and I like learn about how we collect and like how we see, because obviously we'll go to toy stores together. We'll see, like, you know, like there are things that I'm like freaking out about that you're kind of like, oh, that's cool. And then like things that you get that you're like, oh my God, that I'm like, man, that's all right. You know, like, so it kind of got me thinking. I'm like, how do we quantify this? How do we understand this?
Okay.
And how do we? And this is like a beta test. Let's call this a beta test, where like I still think there's work to be done. Like, I would love to go on a documentary or something like the Mighty Champions like toy documentary about like the mind of the collector. It's probably out there, probably exists, probably could watch it on YouTube right now.
Yeah.
Just never thought to look it up.
Katie said she took a class on collecting, on like the
Interesting.
mind of the collector.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Like, literally, I've never, but I was like kind of building this like questionnaire type thing, survey, I guess, if you will. Had the help of a friend that I shall not name. But it was really, really like, okay, we got to make this, like, it was like too complex, and then we got to dial it down, and it still, again, needs to do work. So I'm going to ask John
12 questions, and based off of whatever answer he gives me, we're
legitimately nervous.
Me?
I am.
Oh, this is so. Yeah, it'll be fun because there were points of it where I'm like, if I make it specific to him, I know his answer. But if it's like hypothetical questions,
Yeah.
that's what's going to be the realest answer you can get, not just like catered to you, but hypothetical questions that kind of cause
standardized.
you have to answer either A or B or C or D.
Okay.
You know, even though you're going to have like, crap, I would do A, but I kind of want to do D.
But I've got to give you an answer.
I think that's the way to clarify it a little bit more. So it's a Rorschach test. No, I'm kidding. So,
You're stuck in here with me.
exactly. Okay, so here we go. And then once we go over, I'm going to write down. So guys, bear with me. I'm going to write down his answers, and then I basically have to take all of the answers and add them up. So basically, if you get all A's, all C's, all B's, all D's, whatever, that way I can see like what this word pertained to. Like, how do we again quantify who you are as a person?
Okay.
It won't be new. It's nothing new. Like, you're going to know, like, well, that does make sense. Again, this could be a lot more detailed, but for the sake of the podcast, we're going to have a little bit of fun. So, all right, here we go. Number 1, when you look at your collection, what satisfies you most? A, seeing a complete run together. B, seeing a visually perfect arrangement. C, knowing what it's worth. D, remembering why you bought each piece.
Yeah, you weren't kidding. That's tough. It's not the value.
Okay.
I know that.
that.
By process of elimination, it's not the value. I am aware of the value of basically everything in here because it does interest me, but it's not the reason. Like, it's an interest, but it's not the reason.
Right.
If that makes sense. What was the last one?
The last one was remembering why you bought each piece.
It's not that.
Okay.
Like that all kind of over encompasses everything.
Yeah.
Right. Is because I didn't have a childhood, so I'm having one now. The complete run definitely has something to do with it. I like so let me tell you where my adult collecting restarted, and maybe I talked about this on episode 1 as well. I can't remember. I was not collecting because it's expensive and it takes up space and it was too much clutter and da-da-da-da-da. And I was watching a lot of other people's videos of them collecting, and I was playing a Marvel game on my phone where you put together teams. And I was having a blast collecting, like, in my head, all of the X-Men. And then I was like, you know what? This would be a lot more fun if it was physical. So then I just went out that day and bought some figures. So I think it's that. I think it's the complete run. If I have to give you an answer, like, I like that I have all of my X-Men and all of my Spider-Man villains. Like, that is...
Yeah, you answered that earlier. You said, like, it's done. Like, and it's complete.
Yeah, and I say that as a positive.
Yeah.
Like, that's fun for me. So I would say it's that one.
Okay. Number 2, a figure you don't care about is required to finish a wave. A, I buy it anyway. B, I skip it. C, I calculate it if scarcity will justify it. D, I only buy it if it connects to my past.
I pass.
Okay.
I got no time for Vincent D'Onofrio Kingpin.
There you go.
I got no time for half the WWE roster.
There you go.
I'm not gonna have something that I don't like to look at, or like if it's a Build-A-Figure wave and I need the part, I'm gonna sell it immediately.
There you
right?
go.
Like there's not one figure in here that I'm like meh.
So bear with this question because it's not going to matter to you. I still just want to know what your answer is. If the market decreased by 50% tomorrow, A, I'd be annoyed but still want full lines. B, no big deal. I collect for display. C, I'd pivot strategies immediately. And D, I honestly wouldn't care much.
It's either D, I wouldn't care much, or no big deal. I guess those are kind of the same thing. Wouldn't change my approach to anything. You know what I mean? Like in addition to that's not why I do it. The other thing is I do understand business and markets rise and fall.
Yeah.
And it will rise again. You just have to wait.
Exactly. Okay. So, I think D would make the most sense because B is no big deal. I collect for display, but they're honestly the same question. D is almost like I honestly wouldn't.
Yeah, it just wouldn't affect me.
Yeah. All right. Okay, you're reorganizing shelves. Your focus is A, keeping lines chronologically intact, B, improving visual balance, C, separating high-value items, D, grouping by emotional era.
B. Like my approach to display for an individual shelf is like accuracy, I guess, right? Like the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants goes together, and Magneto is in the front and Juggernaut is in the back, and you know what I'm saying, like, you know, the X-Men are together and Cyclops is at the front because he's the leader. So like it's about the dynamics and the action of it and the dynamism.
There you go. All right, number 5. At a toy show, the best part is A, crossing items off a list, B, finding a perfect centerpiece, C, scoring something under market value, D, talking to the sellers about memories.
Not talking to the sellers about memories. You knew that was coming.
I knew that was coming.
I guess it's crossing off things off the list.
Yep.
Yeah, if it was for me, it would be crossing things off the list. But honestly, I do like all of those.
Yeah.
But in a very specific order.
It's funny because I'll try to, when I was going through these, I was trying to answer them for you. And most of them I think I got right. Okay, so number 6, a reissue is announced. A, good, easier to complete the lineup. B, only if the sculpt improves. C, how will this affect originals? D, I prefer the vintage version.
I think what you're asking here is another market value question, right? Like, which we face a lot,
right?
At least I do.
Yeah.
Like, collectors do. Like, Marvel Legends just put out that Archangel and Onslaught, which are both re-releases.
Yeah.
Re-releases are now happening really, really frequently. Kingpin, Mysterio, Electro, like a lot of these things are happening, and a lot of people are really upset because their figures lose value.
Yeah.
I don't care about the value. I care about accessibility and if I can get it, and if other people can get it, and whether or not I already had it in the first place. And if I don't, then I need it, so I'm going to get it, right? The Electro is bad, but I needed it, so I bought it. Right, that sort of thing. What were the options again?
So A, good, easier to complete the lineup.
Yeah.
B, only if the sculpt improves. C, how will this affect the originals? And D, I prefer the vintage version.
Very much A.
Yes.
Yeah, very much A. You're like, great, that means I can get it.
Yes.
I could care less if anybody else gets it or what it does to the value.
There we go. All right, so we have number 7. If forced to downsize, A, I'd cut incomplete lines first. B, I'd remove pieces that hurt the display. C, I'd sell highest value items first. D, I'd never sell my childhood linked items.
Out of those options, I guess it would be, I don't know if incomplete is the right word, but it's the closest word that I've been presented with, right? So, like, I hate, every time this comes up, I hate even saying it out loud, but G.I. Joe Classifieds has just got a guillotine hanging over its head in this room because I'm always considering space is running out, right? And it's not that it's incomplete, it's just, it doesn't really have a beginning and end for me. So I guess it would be that one.
Okay. Number 8, your ideal collecting goal is A, every figure from a specific run, B, a curated best of display, C, a portfolio of smart acquisitions, D, a time capsule of your youth.
Ooh, that's tough. A little bit of everything.
Yeah.
I think the closest representation for me is best of, though, right? Because, like, I love quantifying and ranking.
Yes.
Right? Like
your wrestling thing is, like, complex, kind of.
It is, and honestly, I attempted to put it on Reddit a while back, and I even asked ChatGPT, how do you explain this in a way where other people can understand?
Elevator pitch, it's like a ranking system, essentially.
It's the way that I explained it to Katie when she came over was, I was like, front is better than back, and visibility is the ranking. So front, top, best, bottom, back, worst. And she was like, got it.
Gotcha.
Right? So... yeah, like pretty much everything I'm collecting is my personal.
Jim Lee, the best of your favorite.
It's the best of. It's how it's like it's all-star teams.
Yes,
right. Because the thought process started with that game, and that's what that is. Like it's all-star teams.
This is going to be interesting. Number 9. When you buy something, the strongest driver is A, obligation to the set, B, visual appeal, C, long-term value, D, emotional reaction.
Visual appeal, I think. I think the visual appeal and the emotional reaction are tied together.
Yeah.
The emotional reaction is taking place, but I don't think it's at the conscious part of my mind. You know what I mean? I'm not thinking, oh, this is making me happy because when I was a kid, da-da-da-da. I just never put the stuff down I liked when I was a kid. It's just still there without ever having been put down. So the forefront is, oh, that Shawn Michaels is in the red tiger print from the cover of the magazine from 1996. That looks sick. I want it.
There you go.
So yeah, it's more about the visual.
There we go. All right. Number 10. How do you feel about variants? A, necessary to finish properly. B, only if visually distinct. C, some are strong investment plays. D, only if I remember them.
What was A?
Necessary to finish properly.
What was B?
Only if visually distinct.
B, only if visually distinct. I'm not chasing variants or what do they call the 1 of 200 or 1 of 300
chase figures?
Chase figures, right? Which are variants, generally, because they are chase figures. I chase them if it's the look that I prefer, which in some cases it is, and which means I go, okay, I have to spend more on that. And then in other cases, I go, no, I like the base one more. Like this DDP, Diamond Dallas Page. This is the chase in the light blue jeans. And the regular was in dark blue jeans. But in WCW Revenge on Nintendo 64, he's wearing light jeans.
There you
go.
So
that's what I needed.
There you go. All right, number 11. Your collection feels most right when A, nothing is missing. B, it looks like a museum exhibit. C, it's well protected and documented. D, it tells your personal story.
Oh my God, that's hard.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gun to my head, I would say tells my personal story.
Mm-hmm.
I do like it to look like a museum. That's fun for me. I love just dusting.
Yeah.
But I think it's pretty impossible to not get a glimpse of who I am when you see my collection, right? And maybe it's a bit of narcissism, but I like sitting here and staring at my stuff because I like it and it represents me and the nostalgia and da-da-da-da-da. So yeah, I would say that.
Okay, last one. Number 12. If someone criticized your collection, what would bother you most? A, you're missing a few. B, it looks cluttered. C, those won't hold value. D, why keep old toys?
I mean, none of that would bother me. Also, if you criticize my collection, you better keep your hands up.
Yeah.
What was the first one?
You're missing a few.
What was the second one?
It looks cluttered.
It looks cluttered. Yeah, because I try to really make it not feel like clutter.
Yeah.
I really, really put effort.
Yeah, if some rando off the street, like a normie, was just wow, it's all really cluttered in here.
Yeah.
You don't know
anything. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to have you fill the empty air whilst I count up how many of the same letter that you answered. Okay.
Yeah, I would say that I wasn't really anticipating this being as thought-provoking as it is.
what I wanted.
But yeah, you really made me like consider why I do some of the things that I do, because I am, as calculated as I am, I'm also pretty impulsive. Like in all aspects of my life, I am extremely calculated and extremely compulsive, both. And pretty much everything in here represents that. And I never really stopped to be like, am I doing this because of like it makes me happy from my childhood, or is it just that you developed your interests when you were a child and they're still your interests now?
Yeah.
Right, which is pretty much, I think, more the case for me. Like, because I've never stopped. I'm reading volumes of the Ninja Turtles right now. I've never stopped being interested in Ninja Turtles. I've never stopped being interested in Marvel and wrestling and video games, in X-Men and Spider-Man. Like, I've never stopped watching reruns of Spider-Man the animated series. I've never,
exactly.
you know what I mean? And like, some people might think that's like uncool or whatever. I legitimately don't care one little bit what another person thinks in any way, shape, or form. So
Sure. Okay, so I'm going to break down. There's 4, right? It probably needs to be more detailed.
for like personality types.
4 personality types.
This is very BuzzFeed.
Very BuzzFeed. Very much. It's, okay. We got the completer,
Okay.
the curator, the strategist, and the nostalgist. Okay. Based off of the amount of B's that you selected, you land as the curator, which...
I think that's dead right.
Yeah. So basically, another term, the shelf architect.
Okay.
From the prestigious halls of Display University, master of symmetry, destroyer of clutter, the high priest of balanced lighting and museum poses. The shelf architect.
So for the listeners, if you guys were playing along, if you got mostly A,
Yeah.
you are.
So if you got mostly A, you are the completer, right?
If you got mostly B, you're the curator.
Like
Like me.
You're the strategist. You're thinking always about the market. You're thinking about like the ebbs and flows, like the value. I would say you probably fall, in my opinion, probably fall into a different category of a collector. You're in it because of like money components, right? Like you're probably like a reseller, if I had to take a guess, if you know what I'm saying.
I resell to fund.
You do, but
curating.
like somebody who I think is like always on, like if you're like if Marvel Legends, like I'd be more mad if it got really expensive, but if the value went down, I don't care. Like that makes it cheaper when I go buy it. Like I would love that actually.
Yeah.
And then D, then the nostalgist, which is what I fall into.
Yeah,
right?
for
I
sure.
100% fall into that category because everything that I do and every purchase I make is
Your guiding light is like 8-year-old me loves this.
woefully tied into that. But I think to kind of expand a little bit more on yours, the curator, this collector doesn't want everything. They want the right things.
Yep.
Every figure earns its place. Every pose is intentional. Backgrounds considered. Spacing measured. Mm-hmm. If it ruins the aesthetic, it's gone.
Yep.
The finishing move, which is kind of like wrestling style.
Stone Cold Stunner, obviously.
The glass case drop removes 3 figures because of the composition felt off.
Yeah.
It's kind of wild,
Yeah,
right?
that's crazy.
So yeah, that's a working what they call the TCPI, the Toy Collector Psychological Index, et al. Christian, 2026.
Is this how you're sneaking Sopranos into this episode?
No, but I finally need to get the Sopranos thing off my chest, dude. Every time I say, remind me of that, you're always like, thanks for listening. Bye. Well, let's talk about that. I'm talking about the Sopranos thing, okay, before we end this darn episode. But yeah, it's kind of an interesting thing. So I was like,
you nailed it. That's me. That's me to a T. Like I think you know me, and the listeners know me at this point, right? Like, and just looking around in here, like it's exactly what I'm trying to like nail the display the way that it is in my head, and that there's no fat to be trimmed off as far as like I don't really care about that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's
Exactly.
very when I said it to you just now, all-star teams. That's what it is I'm putting together all-star teams.
Exactly. Yeah, I thought really hard, man. I was kind of just sitting there and I would kind of like think about like, how complex do we make it, or do we make it kind of simple? But then it's like, no, there are answers for this. And like, so anyway, it was something that just was on my mind. Like as I was just driving, thinking about all of this stuff. But yeah, man. So diving into The Sopranos. Again, I want to do the weekly Sopranos segment. Okay. There's just no way around it. There's no way around it. But I've talked to you about this before, and this is something that I would love to have commissioned. Okay. This is a piece of artwork that I want to hang on my wall. I have two pieces that I'll talk about. Okay. So number one, there's something so beautiful and so special about, part of me doesn't want to do this because I feel like somebody's going to steal my idea. So what is today? Today, it's 4:40 on Sunday, February 21st. I'm time stamping this just so anybody tries to steal my idea.
Poor man's patent.
Poor man's patent, yeah. I want a Sopranos X-Men crossover, okay? And you haven't watched Sopranos in a long time.
Nobody's going to steal your idea.
Oh my God. It's the same thing as me running to the dinosaurs with a guy just trying to look at a pair of Levi's. I was going to be like, back off, man. I saw it first. He's like,
your idea's safe.
Yeah. Like, okay, but check this out. Hear me out. An X-Men crossover painting, like a realistic painting, think Alex Ross or something like that, right? Or even just whatever. Like, you know, AI would be the fastest way to look at this, but obviously, like, the AI thing is
AI can suck it.
There's beef, right? Junior Soprano, Uncle Junior, as Professor Xavier. Tony Soprano as Cyclops. We either give him, like, you know, the full Jim Lee suit, but just he's bald and it's like, you know, plus-sized look. Carmela Soprano.
Plus-size Cyclops.
Plus-size Cyclops. Carmela Soprano as Jean Grey. Right?
Okay.
We color her hair. We keep it blonde, whatever. Right? Yeah. Hesh, which is like their friend. Do you remember Hesh at all? Okay. Hesh Beast. Because he's like sort of this wise sort of kind of character. Furio as Colossus.
Love it.
Very similar. Christopher Moltisanti, Chrissy, as Nightcrawler. He's got kind of like elfish features.
Yeah, he's Nightcrawler-ish.
Polly, specifically from the beautiful and most amazing, one of the best episodes, directed by Steve Buscemi, which is Pine Barrens, where Chris and Polly get lost in the New Jersey Pine Barrens. The way he looks in that episode, because his hair gets messed up and Polly has the like silver wings on the side of his head, looks very much like Wolverine from X-Men Days of Future Past.
Yes, he does.
Polly, Wolverine.
He's a little bit jacked, too.
For an older guy, yeah, for sure. And then we would have Silvio. Silvio was tough because Silvio's sort of like the right-hand man for Tony, but it just doesn't really make sense, like where his characters sort of fall. Like he wouldn't be Wolverine, but his hair though is Gambit
for sure.
So you got him with the Gambit look, okay? So you get him in Gambit garb. You get all of them in X-Men garbs, but it's the exact build of the Sopranos. And to go even further, there's a couple characters that could be in the Brotherhood of Mutants, which is Johnny Sack, who is like the New York crew, right? Yeah. So I think Johnny Sack or Phil Leotardo would be Magneto, because like they're both sort of that kind of character. This is really tough, but like Ralph Cifaretto would be Toad, which is Joe Pantaleone's character, and that they have the same hair. Yeah. Like they have the same hair. Yeah. Toad and Ralph have the same hair.
That's amazing.
And then
she's a hua.
Yeah. Crap. What is the other characters? Vito would be the Blob. Okay. So this one's kind of interesting, but Bobby Bacala, which is like Junior's right hand man. Yeah. This one is kind of like canon wise is just not going to fit, whatever. But he would be a good Juggernaut. Anyway, I want that on my wall.
So you're saying painting? I'm thinking you need to start getting good at customizing figures. Because if you had a custom figures of the Sopranos as X-Men, that's a conversation piece at a party.
That's amazing. I would love that. I think either or, like if I could do both would be amazing, because there's just such richness to be had with that.
Yeah.
It would be the same thing with my because I want to do a Seinfeld Justice League crossover.
Yeah.
Which I think would be beautiful. So both of those things, if you guys share the same love, passion, desire.
Yeah,
Let
get
me
at
know.
us at Mighty Champions and let us know. if
John's
you
like,
need
I
more
stopped recording 20 minutes ago.
Sopranos rant of the week.
I love it.
This was awesome. This was a good time today. A lot of stuff for you guys to sit and ponder and think about your rules, think about your psych test. Get at us at Mighty Champions. Let us know what you've got to say. What did you think of the episode? How'd you do on your psych test? Did you fail or did you make the police academy? Thank you for making us a part of your day, and we'll catch you next week. Bye.